Do you truly understand how to color grade your videos? Or to be more precise, how to approach color grading using the right techniques? There are so many ways to handle both color grading and color correction, so I've pulled in some of the best techniques you can easily work into your process to enhance both the efficiency of your workflow and the beauty of your footage. And I'm also very curious if you have ever used some of these methods before, so please share your thoughts down below in the comments. And now let's dive in. And this is our clip for today. I got it traditionally from ArtGrid, and this one has been shot with Blackmagic. So I have already set up my color management and I have performed primary color correction. So these are my color management settings. I traditionally work using DaVinci Wide Gamut Intermediate. And if you want to learn everything about color management, please join my comprehensive color grading course. You can find a link to it below this video. And I have used this first serial node to adjust the contrast and the exposure. This is before and after. I will not show you how I did it today, as I show it in all of my other videos, so feel free to watch them. I have basically just used my primary wheels to adjust the exposure and the contrast a little bit. So now let's move straight to the tips I want to talk about today. And the first tip is to adjust the saturation with the HDR wheels. So let's create a new serial node and let's call it saturation. And now let's move to our HDR wheels over here. And I do really recommend you to use HDR wheels for adjusting the saturation because they help to target very specific areas of the image. And you can find a very broad lesson covering HDR wheels in my course as well. But today let me just briefly show you how this works. So here we have a few HDR wheels that help us to target a few different regions. This is the light region. This is the shadow region. Then we have the dark region. Then we have black region. And then also we have specular region and the wheel responsible for the global adjustment. So let's say that I want to increase the saturation only in the light areas of my clip, as I don't want to touch any shadows. So I can do it here by increasing the saturation using the control that belongs to the light wheel. And this is before and after. And now we can even adjust the region more using this slider over here. So when I push it up, we make the light region smaller, like this, which ultimately desaturates our image. And when I push it down, we make it bigger. And this way we add the saturation to the bigger portion of the image. So let me find a sweet spot somewhere over here. And this is before and after. And you can see how customizable these controls are. And now let's take a minute and let's talk about audio, the sponsor of today's video. With audio, you get access to thousands of premium handpicked tracks and sound effects. Just search by genre, mood, or even specific instruments to find exactly what you need in seconds. And it's all royalty free, so you never have to worry about copyright strikes or complex licensing. Audio is trusted by thousands of creators worldwide. I personally use Audio Pro license that gives me an unlimited access to all music and sound effects, all clear to use for YouTube or ads. And now with my promo code, you can get a massive 70% discount on Audio Pro. So if this is also something you're looking for, please check the links below my video. Another tip is to build the film look around skin tones, as most of the time when we color grade videos, we don't really change much. Our role is just to enhance what has been captured by the camera. And today I really want to show you a very simple technique that can help you build a look using the skin indicator. So let's create a new serial node and let's just call it look. And now I will switch my parade to the vector scope. And here I already have my skin tone indicator enabled. But if you don't, just go here to the settings and make sure that you have your skin indicator selected. And let's maybe also make it more visible. So I will increase the graticule over here. Okay, so now we can properly see our skin indicator. And in my case, as my clip is very vibrant and very colorful, it is hard to determine which part of the trace actually shows the skin tone. But let me show you how you can handle it. So the way to do it is that we can go to our power windows, and then I will grab the ellipse and I will make it smaller and I will place it over the face. I basically just want to isolate the skin tone with it. Okay, and now when we turn the highlight mode on, look what's happening on the vector scope. Now it shows only the portion of the skin we have selected. And also, just to remind you, if you don't know it yet, the skin indicator shows where the skin tones should lay on the vector scope. So a very general rule is that our skin tones should lay on, or in case of darker skin tones, a bit above the skin indicator. There are obviously some exceptions from this rule, and you can find out about them in my course, but today let's stick to the general rule and let's correct our clip to move our skin tones towards the skin indicator, as now the skin tones lay below the skin line, which means that we have too many yellow tones in the skin. And I will use the gamma wheel to adjust the skin, as midtones generally represent skin tones. So let me zoom in so I can see better what I'm doing. And I will push my gamma towards red, like this. Okay, and I like how the skin looks now, and we can also see that we have moved the trace on the vector scope. Now it sits on the skin line. So let's turn the highlight mode off, and now to be able to see our look, we also need to get rid of the power window, and this is our before and after. Looking great and very natural. Now tip number 3. Sculpt your clip using the saturation versus Luma curve. The saturation versus Luma curve lets us control the luminance level of the image based on the saturation. And let me show you how it can help us to sculpt the look of our clip. And this will be actually a part of our look, so I will use parallel nodes. And let's call this one saturation versus Luma. And then let's go straight to our saturation versus Luma curve. And here, left to right, we have the shadow to highlight value, and then up and down, we have the saturation. So I will push down the luminance level on the right first, and then I will increase it a bit on the left side, like this. I will actually maybe raise it a bit on the right, and look at before and after. By doing this, we have basically achieved a very subtle bleach and bypass effect, and also now our lights over here look better, more defined, as we have decreased the luminance of them. And I can, for example, create another point in the middle of my curve, and I will decrease it a tiny bit as well. And this is our final before and after. So feel free to play around with it with your own clips. The next tip will be to add matte while using the glow effect. So let's label another parallel node as glow, and then let's right click on it and let's add matte. And here we also need to pick the name of our clip. And then when I click on my matte node and when I turn the highlight mode on, I can see how the matte node works. It basically creates a key, and this way when using glow, we will be affecting only the brightest parts of the clip, not the whole clip uniformly. So let me show you how this works. So I will grab the glow from the effects and I will drop it onto the glow node. And then I will just push the shine threshold slider to the left, somewhere over here. And this is our before and after, a very subtle effect. And now let me show you how the glow would look like if we haven't applied the matte node. So let's disable the matte node and look at the difference. It is way too intense after. And this is again after applying the matte node. Another tip would be to combine power windows with qualifiers. So let's maybe create 2 more parallel nodes over here, and let's label the first one as face, as I will be using this technique to make the face pop a little bit more. And now I will grab the ellipse and I will adjust it to the face nicely. Okay. And let's turn the highlight mode on to be able to see our mask. Looking good. And now we obviously need to track the movement of the shot. So let's run the tracker. Okay. And now I'll go to my qualifier, as I want to adjust only the lightest parts of her face. So I will turn the highlight mode on once again to be able to see what I'm doing. And I'll push the Luma slider to the right to grab only the lightest parts. Okay. And now I will soften the selection a bit. And then I will also blur it over here. And I will denoise it. And let's scroll through my clip. Looking good. So now I'll go to my primaries and I will increase the gamma to brighten it a bit. And then maybe I will increase the contrast. And I will also decrease gain a bit. And this is before and after. We have brought even more attention to her face. And the last technique I want to talk about today is to use grain to stylize the footage. So let's label our last note accordingly. And grain is a very powerful tool that can completely change the look and feel of the footage and make it look more filmic. And I like to use a new film look creator in DaVinci Resolve 19. So let me grab it and drop it onto the note. And the film look creator always applies this 65mm look to the clip as a default. But if you want to use only grain, all we need to do is to change it to clean slate over here. And then I will zoom into my clip so we can see better what we are doing. And then let's scroll down to grain. And I will zoom in more actually. This is before and after. This is a 55mm grain. And I like the look of it, but here we can customize it. And we can choose from other options like 16mm that adds more softness, or 8mm that adds more blurriness. Basically, all of these grains simulate the old footage. But let's go back to the 35mm and let's customize it a bit. So here we can increase the amount of the grain and let's play it. Okay, and I will actually maybe decrease the amount of the grain. It is too much. Like this. So I really like to use this effect if I want to create more stylized looks. Thank you so much for watching my videos, guys. I hope that you like them. If you do, hit subscribe and don't forget to leave a comment below. See you soon.